And I came to believe that good and evil are names for what people do, not for what they are. All we can say is that this is a good deed because it helps someone, or that's an evil one because it hurts them. People are too complicated to have simple labels. Philip Pullman, The Amber Spyglass. This quote carries a theme over into both the poem and song that I have decided to do a comparative analysis on. In the quote, Pullman states that people are too complicated to have simple labels, and I find that to be true because labels limit the possible potential someone has to give to the world. The poem Filling Station by Elizabeth Bishop will be compared to the song Daddy by Jewel, and they are anything but simple. My 3 points are that life gets messy sometimes, they both use color as a way to set the mood, and they both use rhetorical questioning. So for my first point, life gets messy sometimes. No matter where you are on the road to fulfillment, life gets messy. Milk cartons tip over, businesses fail, fender benders happen, friends disappoint you, messes big and small are inevitable. However, in any moment you have a choice. You can meet challenges as the narrow perception of personality or as the infinite expansiveness of spirit. When life gets messy, you're receiving a gift, an opportunity to come into clarity. So, in the poem, in the second stanza of Elizabeth Bishop's poem, she states, Father wears a dirty, oil-soaked monkey suit that cuts him under the arms, and several quick and saucy and greasy sons assist him. It's a family filling station, all quite thoroughly dirty. And then, in the last line, she says, somebody loves us all. What this means, again, what I basically just said before that, is that life gets messy sometimes, and saucy, and greasy, and gross, but through it all, somebody's gonna love you. And then, in the song by Jewel, Daddy, one of her lines is, yes, I left the refrigerator door half open, Daddy. What's that say about me? I'm sloppy. What's that say about you? I'm messy. What's that say about you? That's, again, basically saying that people make mistakes and life is not perfect and we do things that we don't mean to do sometimes. But does that really define who you are? No. Somebody's going to love you. Then moving on to my next point, in the poem, in the fourth stanza, she says, some comic books provide the only note of color, of certain color. They lie upon a big dim doily draping a tabouret, part of the seat beside a big hirsute begonia. This is basically stating that color provides a certainty and happiness even when life gets messy. Life is not certain and you're a fool to think so if you do, but at least they have something to provide that comfort whenever they are in need of it. And then in Jewel's song, a line that she says is, well, last night I saw you sneak out of your window with your white hood, Daddy. According to the Color Wheel Pro, white is associated with light, goodness, innocence, purity, and cleanliness. It is considered to be the color of perfection, and as opposed to black, white usually has a positive connotation and can represent a successful beginning. However, white in this song is used to show how hypocritical Daddy is by sneaking out of his window at night while wearing his white hood, which is supposed to represent, purity, innocence, whatnot. But he's not. So then moving on to my third point, they both use rhetorical questioning, and a rhetorical question is a device used to persuade or subtly influence the audience. It's a question asked not for the answer, but for the effect. So going back to Jewel's song, for all those things you said that were mean, I'm going to make you just as vulnerable as I was, Daddy. What's that say about me? So she's basically asking what that says about her for making him feel the same way as he makes her feel. However, according to Jewel, it should be obvious that if she did it should be obvious that if she did that to him, of what he did to her, it would make her a horrible person, which is what she's trying to point out about him. And then going back to the poem by Elizabeth Bishop, she says, why the extraneous plant? Why the tabaret? Why, oh, why the doily? In this stanza, these rhetorical questions are meant to make the reader think, what's so important about these little things? Well, according to the poet, all of these things provide something for the family and gives a role to each of the members by having them tend to those things. So, in conclusion, the poem Filling Station by Elizabeth Bishop was compared to the song Daddy by Jewel, and they are anything but simple. The three main points that were discussed were life gets messy sometimes, they both used color to set the mood, and they both used rhetorical questioning to give a greater effect.